Hello my beautiful yogis, welcome to Yoga with Leif and my online yoga studio. Now today we're going to be looking at an issue that I see a lot of students struggle with, and that's just sitting comfortably on the floor. So I have some gentle poses that are focusing on releasing tension on the front and inside of our thighs, and at the same time increasing the flexibility in those areas. And in turn, it's going to make it just that much easier and more comfortable to sit here in easy pose or Sukhasana. So the basic idea to sit comfortably is you want to keep that natural curve in your spine so that most of your weight is going directly down into your sitting bones. And to achieve this, we want to have our knees roughly the same height as our hips, or maybe even a little bit lower. Because when they're higher up, what tends to happen then is we tilt our pelvis, and then we're going to be engaging and stressing the muscles in the front of our thighs and the inside of our thighs. And then we also have to work a little bit more with our core and our back. And then over time, you're going to get tired from sitting here. Now, one way to address this is to sit on a pillow or a block to raise your hips, your pelvis a little bit higher up, so that we have our knees at the same height or a little bit lower than our hips. Yeah, or another way to address this over time is then to follow this class and these poses to help to release the tension and open up the flexibility in these areas. So if you haven't already, then hit that subscribe button to become a part of this online yoga community. I would really love to have your wonderful energy here with us. Now, getting started today, we don't need any props, but it could be okay to have a pillow or a block for just said reasons, to make things a little bit easier and a little bit more comfortable in the beginning, or just have a mat and put on some clothes that you can move in comfortably. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to be doing bound ankle pose or Barakunasana to start off with. So we're bringing the soles of our feet together. You can adjust, so how close or far away you have your feet. Just bring your hands behind us, and then we're going to be bringing some awareness and focus on the inside of our thighs. So here now, right, it is really typical that we have a lot of tension and we're just holding. And if we have this tension, if we have the activated inside of the thighs, then we can actually stretch them and start opening up that flexibility. So focus now, maybe gently rock the knees a little bit up and down and try to release the muscles here. Notice the difference. Am I holding? Am I tensing? Or am I managing to just release them down? You might want to bring one hand and just give it a gentle push, a nudge here, just to see how that feels. So we're going to take a few deep breaths here together. 1. 2. 3. 4. Continuously letting go, releasing. And 5. Okay, from here we're moving on to Janusz Asana A. So we're going to take our right foot, stretch it out in front of us, keeping this other leg down. Now, if there's any discomfort in your knee or ankle, what I want you to do is think from your hip that you're doing this sort of slight external rotation. So from here, because then we're going to be taking away some of that twist in the knee and then using our hip to open up. Now we're bringing this leg into the inside of our thigh. If it's still uncomfortable, you can raise your knee up a little bit. Okay, maybe put a block or something underneath. Have your foot on the inside of your leg or just out to the side. Okay, so stay here sitting, just supporting our back, coming further up. Again, the focus is here, so it's not coming forward, but just releasing, opening up this side. But if you feel comfortable and you want to continue, then we can start walking the hands a little bit further forward, supporting with our core, finding length out through the top of our head. And 3. 4. And 5. On the exhale, walking the hands back again. Now we're going to do the opposite movements here. So bringing the right leg in, stretching the left leg out. Again, using the hip external rotation. Open up the side, focus on here, sitting straight up. And maybe it's enough for you just to sit here now. All right? Try to let the knee down, down. Release the tension. Or we're going to come forwards. 3 more breaths. 3. 4. 'Being mindful of your thoughts. And 5. Okay, from here, collecting the legs, shaking them out just a little bit. Again, releasing all the tension that we have in our thighs. So we're bringing our feet out to the side towards a little split, or Barakunasana, a little modified version here. So hands behind us, pushing the hips forwards to open up, again, the inside of the thighs. Keeping this external rotation, so we're not allowing our knees and toes to point inwards, but rotating from the hips and then thinking the knees and toes pointing upwards and maybe even slightly back. Yeah, so just keep your hands back behind you. If you can keep that support in your spine, then maybe work your hands forward, length out through the top of your head. And 5 deep breaths here. 1. 2. Again, nothing here is uncomfortable or painful. It should just feel totally fine to be sitting here. 3. And if there is anything that's painful, then go ahead and make some adjustments. And that could be bending your knees, moving your hips a little bit further forwards or backwards, or sitting up on the pillow. Okay, 1 final breath here. 5. And coming back up again to sitting. Now from here, I like to use my hands to collect my legs so that we don't need to start activating the inside of the thighs after we've been stretching them for a bit and opening up. Shaking those legs loose. Again, taking some deep breaths. Right? The full focus today in the class is front of the thighs, inside of the thighs. So from here, we're going to come up on all fours to stretch and release some of the tension in the front of the thighs. So from here, cat-cow. We're just going to bring one leg with us up in front, so make the adjustments that you need. Now here it could be okay if you have some pain, if it's a little bit much for your back knee, then to go up on the ball of your foot and then push down to release some of that tension. Or you can just bring a pillow or something like that underneath to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. So the full focus, the front of the thigh, so we're going to drop our hips down, pulling ourselves forward with the front leg, and then think here of pushing your hips forward. So we're engaging the stomach a little bit and then just finding that stretch in the front of the thigh. 5 deep breaths. We're at least at 3 here now. 3. 4. And 5. On the exhale, we're going to bring that weight back into the hands, bringing the leg back and then changing sides. So adjusting your prop if you have one. Opposite leg forward. And again, focus is the front of the hips. So pushing the foot down, pulling forward, pushing the hips forward using our abdominals here. Finding that deep stretch in the front of our thigh. 2. Length out through the top of your head. 3. Deep breaths. 4. And 5. Breathing out, coming back to all 4. Moving the prop off to the side, but keep it close. We might need it now. So just think of the easiest way of coming down to laying down on your mat. For supine bound angled pose, or supta Barakunasana. So a similar version of what we just did sitting, bringing the soles of our feet together, dropping the knees down. So this here one we can do in a lot of different, or have a lot of different distances between our feet and our hips. So you go ahead and just find that spot where you feel like it stretches the most. So we're going to be here for 10 long deep breaths. If you feel like it's like you have enough of a stretch on the inside of your thighs, then you can take some blocks, some pillows, something like that, have them under your thighs or your knees. So adjust the height here if you feel like, yeah, it's stretching enough, and so that you can relax in this pose. Or bringing your hands to the inside of our thighs as some weights to help bring them down. So just relaxing them here as much as we can, only activating the little bit that we need. Or we can have our arms out to the side, palms facing up, maybe cactus arms. What I really like to do in this pose is bring my index finger and my middle finger together, just a little binding here, and then have my hands over my head. So then I get a little openness in the front of my chest and heart as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 10 breaths. Let's say we've been here for 2 so far. 3.
4. So again, this is such a typical pose where people will just be tensing and holding, yeah, and then our legs are also actually coming up a little bit, but we really need to relax, release these muscles to be able to allow the knees to come down. Now, if you maybe have somebody at home with you, maybe a friend, family member, partner, something like that, maybe ask them to come and help you out in some of these poses, and then they can gently bring their hands to just above your knees, and then just give some slight pressure here to help push them down a little bit further. And then you can just relax and enjoy. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, very nice, guys. Here I want to bring the hands down to help collect the knees. Again, the same idea that we're not immediately activating the areas. We've just been opening up and stretching and releasing the tensions. So we have one final pose here to open up a little bit on the inside of the thigh. So these muscles that we use to externally rotate, we're gonna get those now. So bring the one leg up, use the muscles, externally rotate, knee and toes out to the side, crossing over the other leg. Now just keep this, we're pressing this leg away from us. Yeah, we can even use our hand here, and then we're gonna pull this whole thing towards us. Trying to keep our knee, from not being way out here to the side. And we wanna keep it roughly where our chest, where our heart and shoulder is, yeah? And then bringing this area towards us. So you really feel this stretching, opening up in your hip. Again, watching the knee, the ankle, there's no pain or discomfort here. You can even use your hand to help that external rotation on your thigh to release any tension from your knees. 3, 4, and 5. Gently releasing the feet down to the mat and changing sides. So your other leg is up, externally rotating, bending the knee. Okay, so we're not just pushing the leg here, but we're opening up from the hip. Bringing this whole thing towards us. Here I actually have my core is engaged slightly as well, so I'm thinking of pushing my lower back a little bit down towards the floor and finding some length out through my hips. 3, 'And one final breath here, 5. Gently releasing the feet, shaking them out. Okay, guys, just rolling over to one of your sides, coming up to sitting. Finding a nice comfortable sitting position here. So in Sukhasana, right, your legs can be crossed. I really like to have one leg in front of the other, whichever one makes sense to you. Maybe you want to try out a bit of half lotus or full lotus, but just take a moment here now. Notice, is there any difference? Does it feel more comfortable to sit here than maybe what it did just a few moments ago? Maybe bring your hands back behind you again and focus. Okay, try to release the tension. And when it feels okay, then we can start to come up to sitting position. You can of course always use your hands here for support, maybe releasing, and then see how easy can you make this easy pose. Sitting here nice and comfortably, not tensing anything that doesn't need to be active. And finding some calm in the body. You can go ahead and close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Listening. Observing. and being grateful for this moment. Bringing our hands together in front of our heart. Thank you guys very much for today. Namaste. All right. Please drop me a comment down below. Let me know how the sequence went for you. And of course, if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for today. Peace. Namaste. Have a fantastic day.